The best and most country, Big Frog 104. On the line right now, Utica native Emily Mulkerne, good friend of mine from high school. Emily, how you doing?
I'm great, Andy. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's everything been?
Everything has been great, actually. Thank you.
So you're in New York City right now. Tell us what you're doing.
I currently work for a charter school network in New York City, working in public schools, specifically in elementary and middle school.
So you're doing something really special with the 9/11 Memorial. Tell us about that.
Yeah, of course. So when you go to the 9/11 Memorial, everyone has the option, any visitor has the option to go into a recording booth and record what their emotions, their thoughts, and feelings about what happened on 9/11. And this could be people that were actually in New York City when it happened. It can be people that remember clearly where they were when 9/11 happened, similar to the question, where were you when JFK passed away? And there's another option that I got included with, which is talk about how it's affecting you now.
So you go into the booth and you record how it's affecting you now. Do you remember exactly what it is that you had said?
Yeah. So what I talked about with how it's affecting me now is more about the fear that people have in terms of flying and traveling to places that we don't know very well. As you know, my older brother, Sean, is currently working in several countries in Africa. He does a lot of traveling. For the past year, he's been working in Nigeria. And something I mentioned in this speech is that because of terrorism and Boko Haram and all of these fears that we have that are resonating in Nigeria in particular,
right.
my family, we get worried a lot whenever we see on the news that there was a bombing in Abuja, or there was a bombing in Kaduna, and that's where my brother was living for a while. And because he lives overseas, it's hard at times to get in touch with him. Maybe thankfully with technology and WhatsApp, I can text him if something happens, but it was hard for a while to hear from him, especially when something happened, and there was constant fear of, like, oh my God, was Sean in that, or anything like that. And so what I talked about at the 9/11 Memorial was that, is the constant fear of, like, what if a terrorist attack happens? And this wasn't a fear I had when I was a kid until after it happened. I remember being afraid of flying for a while, and when I studied abroad in Scotland, I was so scared to get on a plane just because of hearing when I was a kid of planes crashing. I think it just raised more fears in people of flying than they ever had before.
Especially with, traveling in big airports, traveling internationally. That's for some people a real fear, and you just never know when it could happen. Much like 9/11, nobody ever expected that that America would be attacked or in that way.
And at the time that I spoke on this, it was recently when the Malaysian Airlines had their crash, or their missing plane. That was when I went to the memorial. So, of course, I mentioned that, too. It's just the fear of, like, what happened to this plane? Was it hijacked? Did it just go off course? Did it crash? It's that fear. And I still remember all the feelings I had about 9/11. It was something I growing up, wanted to always learn more about. And I've gotten books, movies, a lot of things on 9/11, so I feel like I know a lot about it. So going to this memorial, honestly, it evokes a lot of emotion. My parents and I were there for 4 hours. And many times I was tearing up. When I finally got to the recording booth, it was just all the feelings I had about that day and have had since then.
That raw emotion, yeah.
Yeah. That's really what it invokes in you.
So tell us what we can expect. You got a letter from the people from the memorial, and basically, what did they tell you?
So what they told me was that a part of my speech is going to be included in one of their displays, which is about remembering 9/11. But my speech is going to be included in a piece about what's America doing now since 9/11, like what cultural changes have we seen since 9/11 in America.
So they'll use your audio from your speech in the memorial at the memorial.
Audio and video.
Oh, wow. So it was a video thing, too.
Yes.
That's really cool, and it's really awesome that somebody from Central New York is representing, a whole country and the emotional turmoil that went on around this event. So when can we expect this to begin? When can we expect you to be featured?
I guess now. It's going to be featured for about 3 to 6 months. So anytime between now and the end of the year, you could see me in the memorial.
Well, Emily, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me and to share your story. And it takes a lot of courage, and people will see this from all over the world. So thank you for doing what you did.
Of course.